the sons of God in the Old Testament, the Watchers in the Book of Enoch, and the Anunnaki in Mesopotamian mythology. Could these really be separate beings? Or could they be the same kind of entities, remembered under different names across different eras and cultures? Hello everyone, I'm Murillo. In recent years, the U.S. government has begun treating UAP, unidentified anomalous phenomena, as a subject worthy of serious investigation. NASA currently maintains that there is no evidence showing that UAP are caused by extraterrestrial life. But if that is the case, then what exactly are these unexplained phenomena? Did something that was once treated as if it did not exist suddenly appear out of nowhere? Or have non-human intelligences been present on Earth since ancient times? And could ancient people have recorded them using the language available to them at the time, words such as gods or angels? The Sumerian gods known as the Anunnaki. Mesopotamian civilization is one of the oldest civilizations in the world, flourishing around 3000 BCE. Agriculture, the lunar calendar, the sexagesimal system, astrology, cities, temples, and writing. All of these are often described in textbooks as the dawn of human civilization. How did such an advanced civilization appear so suddenly in this region? In Mesopotamian mythology, we find gods known as the Anunnaki. They are portrayed as beings who manage the world and are deeply involved in the fate of humanity. In the 20th century, author Zecharia Sitchin interpreted the Anunnaki as beings who came from a planet called Nibiru. To be clear, the idea that the Anunnaki were aliens from Nibiru is not written directly on ancient clay tablets. It is a modern interpretation that became widely known through Sitchin's work. However, even if we set that theory aside, the ancient texts themselves still contain elements that are difficult to ignore. The Anunnaki are not simply gods who watch over humanity from a distance. In the Epic of Atra-Hasis, a labor dispute breaks out among the gods. The lower-ranking gods become exhausted from the hard work of digging canals and preparing the land, and they eventually rebel. As a solution, Enki, the god of wisdom, decides to create human beings. In this story, humans are created to take over the labor of the gods. But then another problem arises. Humanity multiplies too much. The noise of human activity annoyed Enlil, the chief Anunnaki. To reduce the human population, he sends plagues and famines. Finally, he decides to destroy humanity with a great flood. However, Enki secretly warns a human, Atra-Hasis, and tells him to build a boat. This is very similar to the story of Noah's Ark in the Old Testament. According to the Epic of Atra-Hasis, the gods realized too late that by washing away humanity, they had also destroyed the very people who brought them food and offerings. Then Atra-Hasis offered sacrifices, and when the gods smelled the scent, they gathered around the offering like flies. Instead of wiping humanity out completely, the gods placed limits on human life and reproduction, and the old relationship between humans and gods began again. In a previous video, I discussed how the human brain appears to be extremely restricted. For a long time, most of our DNA was dismissed as junk. But what if those silent regions were not useless, only deactivated? The Book of Enoch and the Book of Jubilees, preserved in the Ethiopian Orthodox Church. Now let us turn to the scriptures of the Ethiopian Orthodox Church. While Catholic Christianity recognizes 73 books of scripture, the Ethiopian Orthodox Church recognizes 81 books. Among them are the Book of Enoch and the Book of Jubilees, texts that were not accepted into the biblical canon by most other Christian traditions. The Book of Enoch describes the world before the flood in great detail, a world that is only briefly mentioned in the Standard Bible. According to the Book of Enoch, angels called the Watchers descended from the heavenly realm to earth and had relations with human women. They also taught humans forbidden knowledge, how to make weapons, cosmetics, sorcery, the use of medicinal herbs, and astrology. As a result, violence, corruption, and impiety spread across the earth. Then, from the union between the Watchers and human women, giants called the Nephilim were born. In the Book of Enoch, these beings are described as enormous. They devour the crops of the earth, consume animals, eventually turn against humans, and finally begin fighting among themselves. Because of this, God decides to destroy the earth with a great flood. Only Noah and his family are saved. The fallen angels, meanwhile, are imprisoned beneath the earth, where they await judgment until the final day. The Book of Jubilees continues this story after the flood. After the waters recede, Noah sees invisible evil spirits harming his children and grandchildren, making them sick, disturbing their minds, and leading them astray. These evil spirits are described as the spirits of the Nephilim, whose physical bodies were destroyed in the flood. Noah appeals to God, asking him to imprison all of these spirits in the abyss. God agrees and commands the angels to bind them. But then a leader of the fallen angels, named Mastema, appears. Mastema pleads with God, saying, "Leave some of them under my authority. They are needed to test and tempt humanity." And according to the Book of Jubilees, 9/10 of the evil spirits were bound, while 1/10 were allowed to remain on earth. In the Standard Bible alone, the origin of evil spirits is not clearly explained. But when we read the Book of Enoch and the Book of Jubilees together, a disturbing picture emerges. Evil spirits are the disembodied souls of the Nephilim who perished in the flood. The Sons of God. In Genesis 6, 1-4 of the Old Testament, we find a strange passage. Before the flood, it says that the sons of God saw that the daughters of humans were beautiful, and they married any of them they chose. As a result, the Nephilim appeared on earth. In other words, the Watchers described in the Book of Enoch may correspond to these mysterious sons of God in Genesis. In the standard text of Genesis, this episode is described in only a few brief lines. We are not told much about who these beings were, why they were attracted to human women, or what happened afterward. But the Book of Enoch appears to expand this short and mysterious passage into a much more detailed and much more terrifying account of the pre-flood world. What kind of gods were they? So far, we have looked at Mesopotamian mythology, the Epic of Atra-Hasis, the Book of Enoch, and the Book of Jubilees. What these stories have in common is that the beings called gods or angels are not always portrayed as kind, loving beings watching over humanity. They are very different from the image of an all-loving God that many of us usually imagine. They make humans perform labor for them. They become attracted to human women and made giant children. They cause chaos and then bring about a flood to reset the world. And after the flood, they still continue to manage humanity in one way or another. In the Epic of Atra-Hasis, the gods even gather around the smell of sacrifices after the flood, because they realize that if humanity disappears, there will be no one left to feed them through offerings. Were these beings truly gods? They look strangely human, emotional, selfish, and irresponsible. Perhaps these were not gods in the ultimate sense, but powerful non-human beings that ancient people described with the vocabulary they had. Anunnaki, Watchers, Sons of God. Different names, different traditions, but disturbingly similar roles. Can we really call it coincidence? And now, with the US government abruptly stepping in to explain the UAP phenomenon, I personally feel this directly connects to the possibility that these gods were, in fact, non-human intelligence. Now, it's time to think about, what are we? Are we here just to work for these non-human intelligences? What is the purpose of our lives? While it might be difficult to find a positive answer in this video, I believe there is a clue in the video I previously made about Itzhak Bentov. Perhaps the ultimate point is that we are all fragments of one single consciousness. Through the ego, ignorance, and the physical body, we have forgotten who we truly are. Bentov described it as being like a beggar who has forgotten that he is actually a king. In future videos, I hope to explore this idea more deeply and express what it truly means. Thank you so much for watching until the end. If you found this video interesting, please subscribe and hit the like button.